and put on clean clothes. Finally, on Tibet, sir. There are only Tibet facilities in regions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10. What is wrong with the youths of regions 1, 7, 8, and 9?
Technical vocational, I think, about Tibet.
Yeah.
On that note, I will remember your time is up. You need an extension of 15 minutes, please.
Mr. Speaker, I ask that the honorable member be given 15 minutes to continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. APNU has called for the establishment of technical schools in those regions, but it is not happening. Only last Sunday, I was in region number 7, and the people there are calling for technical schools in their region. They believe that their young people too must be given equal opportunities, and rightly so. I again call on this government to recognize the importance of the development of our treasured resources, the young people of Guyana. I now turn my attention to the $10,000 per child program.
That's very good.
Mr. Speaker, I was entertained when the Honorable Minister of Education referred to the growth in Guyana. But she asked a very pertinent question. Is your life better than before?
Yes, it is.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the people living in this country stands as testimony. Yes, Mr. Speaker. Better life because you have more homeless people. The beneficiaries are farmers who cannot be paid for their paddy in a timely fashion. The inability of this government to adequately provide the hot meal for our children, particularly for schools in the interior location. My colleague, Ms. Donna Hastings, since 2013 budget made reference to it. It continues. Providing the uniforms and payment to those women who prepared those uniforms. Mr. Speaker, those are testimonies of the better life that the Guyanese people are enjoying in this country. Mr. Speaker, as one writer puts it, that is the $10,000 per child grant. This is an attempt to hoodwink the general population. Ludicrous, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we all like money. And the PPP knows that liking money story more than us. And surely the parents of our children would welcome this money. But sir, let me point out the following. One, this government has gotten this country into a depressing situation that any little pittance parents will use to fill a hole for survival. The budget says under education grants of paid 75 para 621 that this money will be provided for this year. A child traveling from West Coast Beef to a school in New Amsterdam via the Garbage River Bridge must pay no less than $1,000 per child. So this $10,000, Mr. Speaker, is for 2 weeks. What happens to the other 50 weeks in the year? And how does it end raising attendance rates? We want continuity. Yes, yes. APNU considers this a blatant example of electioneering as opposed to sustainable development, and worse yet, in the education Generally, sir, the government has been trumpeting the record of economic growth and sound fiscal management. Then I ask, why is this disposable income of teachers cannot be significantly upgraded? And why is it VAT cannot be reduced to ease the economic squeeze of the very parents of school-age children? Mr. Speaker, our parents of the school-age children need more than the $10,000 per year. That cannot suffice. Finally, in this matter, sir, a one-off input cannot work. I urge the government to not only embrace the C word as in corruption, but to do so as in continuity. Finally, on this, sir, we of APNU believe that providing boats for our rivering children and buses for our coastlanders would be more helpful to the children of our community. Sir, I now turn to access to education. The Learning Channel. Mr. Speaker, at page 74, para 6 to education grants I quote, government has already made significant investments in the education sector seeking to ensure universal access and to raise both quality and delivery attainment rates, unquote.
That's true.
Of concern to APNU is the access to education and education for all Guyanese. Sir, this House is aware that exorbitant sums of money are spent on the Learning Channel. Did somebody say 3 million per month, Mr. Speaker? When money is invested, we expect to get the returns for it. But here is what the practical situation for the Learning Channel regarding some regions. And this is a report from the regions. Region 1. Only Magaruma gets the channel, and it is not seen clearly. Region 7 has been available for over a year when it was functional. Only one community received the channel. Region 8, no access to learning channels, and where there might be, it is really not accessible because there is no electricity in the days, only in the night. So shame for my brothers. Region 9, Anai, Aranaputa, and Quatamang are the only receivers, but Anai receives for only preschool or early childhood wards. 11 areas in the North Savannas do not receive because of some reason or the other, TV antennas, electricity, etc. The Latam station, same as in the North and Central Savannas. And I'm sure that my colleague, Mr. Sidney Alika, who made reference to the Learning Channel, will attest to it. What access is there for the so-called delivery of education via the Learning Channel? Are we not entitled to be the beneficiaries of taxpayers' dollars? Or is that friends and families of the government are entitled to construct their pants with long pockets, Mr. Speaker? This government must answer for this. Mr. Speaker, by notice paper 203, I recall the opposition chief whip, Amna Ali, asked the Minister of Education some questions on the Learning Channel. That is areas in regions 1, 7, 8, and 9 that are reached by the Learning Channel, as well as the program guide. I did not want to question the Minister's ability to monitor what I want to let this Assembly know that by your own actions, you demonstrate your capabilities. Sir, the answer tendered for the program guide was turbulently rude. I asked for the guide to be furnished to the National Assembly, and Minister tells me, oh, it is on the channel 35 to 50 times per day. Mr. Speaker, I am sorry. You can't blame me if the minister is deeply challenged in her ministry and can't give proper answers which this House is entitled to give. Finally, on the question of this learning channel, the minister must also tell the National Assembly why a transmitter is in Karasabay when the materials for the construction of the tower still at Annan for a year and over since 2013 budget.
Wow.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to urge the government to embrace the C word as in commitment and discard the C word as in corruption. Improving literacy rates, teacher training. Mr. Speaker,
I'm hearing it very well.
improving literacy rates is hinged to a crucial factor on investments in our people. And to invest in our people, there is need to have a direct input in our school system. Opportunities must be created so that our teachers can be upgraded. Our teachers must be exposed to the upgraded measures in our school system. Careful thought is not exercised in the program content and the time allotment to implement the program. In my last budget presentation, I forewarned about numbers or how many were trained, but the quality of training, the exposure to learning resources, and constant upgrading, they are vital components on investment in our people. Learn a little bit. In our people for enhanced production. In terms of improving literacy rates, which has a link to the quality of our teachers, I wish to posit the following. For teachers training, the academic requirements for the intake of teachers to training should not be reduced. If there is a shortage, relevant upgrading courses must precede the actual training program. In many of our schools and the general improvement in math and science program, a heavy financial input was made in 2013. CDs were provided as aids to work along, but these CDs have incorrect answers. Hence, it can be of no help to the students. Sir, I have an example right here. And if the Honorable Minister is savvy in maths, she can listen to them or ask. As a result, both the teachers and students are rejecting them. Mr. Speaker, I charge that the education sector has falling standards and careless monitoring. Managing and management is crucial, Mr. Speaker. I myself, being always a teacher, wish to advise the Honorable Minister that pumping monies in a fit form can't work. Repeatedly I advise, fix the foundation or the top will collapse. And sir, that is what is happening. Spend the money in the primary section, improving our teachers' skills, program content, provide materials and human resources, and make the education system work.
Honorable Member, you have 5 minutes to do this.
Yes, thank you. Where's the investment that is being put in? Feel the impact, Mr. Speaker. Finally, the Education Strategic Plan, 2008-2013. Mr. Speaker, in 2013, 28.5 million was expended towards the final year of the 2008-2013 strategic plan. And now, sir, 32.3 billion is being allocated towards the implementation of the first year of our new education strategic plan. I will explain to you what is a strategic plan, Mr. Kumar.
Very good.
The paper of 2008-2013 framework and intent of this strategic plan has been well put theoretically. I wish to posit that examining the mission statement of this plan, eliminating illiteracy, modernizing education, and strengthening tolerance, we have to question the implementation of that plan. Yes, we have a printed document called the Strategic Plan 2008-2013. But how do we expect that this National Assembly can properly do an assessment of what is achieved and the extent of its successes? An important document called the Education Digest, which should consist reports and evaluation. Its latest edition, to my knowledge, is 2011. How could you, or what could be used to justify the amount of money spent for the final year of 2013 of the strategic plan? How often is this digest expected to be produced? And why has it not been produced? Up to date, 2013. Last edition, 2011. 2 years ago, including 2013, nothing. Mr. Speaker, let us take a look at what should have been achieved in the National Strategic Plan. And because of time, I will only earmark a few examples because I have already mentioned some of the areas earlier. Where is the link between the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, when continuously it is reported about 30 sports grounds in a whole country of over 1,000 schools? Some schools don't even have yard space for the children to play. What is the quality of the remediation program? You think sports ground mean killing goats at the stadium? To improve the literacy rate in the education sector. And what is the outcome of the resources plowed in for this program? The health and family life education outlined in this plan, sir, speaks of enhancing literacy. But where are the libraries and librarians? Why is it there aren't adequate workbooks yet? Well, the latest thing is the textbook was recently redone, and it was clear that to the ministry if it was new or revised. Sir, 2014-2018 strategic plan is hibernating. Months ago, opposition members and the alien Cassius were promised it, but the budget came and will go. And that strategic plan, which money is budgeted for in this 2014 budget, is still hibernating. Mr. Speaker, like I said in my earlier one, we want value for our money. We support any meaningful project. We support development. We want our nation's children to have a better life. Hence, this government must utilize the requisite resources, human and material, to let the people of this country enjoy a better life. I trust that my colleagues on the other side of the House can recognize the importance of consultation and advise and work towards making Guyana a better place for all. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first I join with all my colleagues on this side of the House to congratulate the Honourable Minister of Finance for once again giving us an excellent budget that will continue the expansion of the economy as we have seen over the past 8 years. Mr. Speaker, I also want to offer congratulations to a minister, a woman I have great admiration for. And that is the Minister of Education. In spite of the monsoon of criticisms and heckling and whatever, monsoon, yes sir, she stood like a woman passionate about progress and passionate about the largest sector of this country. He said, once again, Minister, to you and your staff, our admiration and congratulations. Mr. Speaker, I want to talk about Region 7. Straight. I'm going to talk about the economy now. I want to talk about Region 7. And this is the state of Region 7. Construction is currently ongoing on 2 new schools in Region 7 at 72 miles and Itabali, while several others have been given a facelift. As a result of the inclement weather, work was delayed. But early this year, not soon, early this year, we continue, I'm quoting you, Mr. Speaker, to strive for improvement in education. We hope to achieve even more this year once our budget is approved. Rehabilitation of roads has been completed at Bamford Point, West Indian Housing Scheme, Agatash, Caribreeze Hill. In terms of healthcare delivery, extension works were carried out at the Cameron Hospital and a new nurses' hostel was constructed. Speaking of Region 8, Mr. Speaker. Region 7, sir. The region, you had your chance just now, listen now. The region has developed a mechanism to facilitate residents who are in need of surgery, especially the region, especially those in the outlying communities, to do those surgeries in Martika. Yes, Mr. Speaker, in this regard, health workers are deployed to various communities to make house calls and diagnose patients. Those who are recommended for surgery are transported to Martika, where the medical procedures are done. After post-surgery treatment, patients are transported back to their respective communities. This is done on a monthly basis. There is a shortage of teachers in some remote areas such as Kurupung. This is as a result of teachers not wanting to be posted in those areas. Efforts being made to train more teachers are recognized. The region will be making efforts to provide furnished living quarters for teachers and health staff, which will hopefully be an incentive for them to take up jobs in these areas. Over the last 20 years, Guyana has moved from a place where 30% of teachers were trained. Today, we have 70%. Mr. Speaker, I expected some noise and heckling, especially from the Honorable Member, Mr. Ali. But you know what, sir? I didn't get this from the Honorable Priyaman Chan. I got this quote from Kaichor News of March 17, 2014. Oh, and these were the words which Kaichor quoted coming from the mouth of APNU Regional Chairman. that is good, they on the other side have said it's bad. And if you listen to them, we had the worst budget ever. The worst budget ever we had. Mr. Speaker, and nothing good has happened if you look at this budget and the performance of this government through the eyes of the opposition. Except what we saw, Mr. Speaker, was an assault on the hard-working people of this country. The hard-working rice farmers and unstaffed of one were called grass cutters.
With respect, I have seen the transcript when Minister Irfanali said they're going to be giving money. The retort was to do what? Cut grass? But no, but at no time did the members say
Mr. Speaker,
I have the transcript. I have the transcript and I'm very firm on this. At no time did the members say that they are grass cutters. To do what? Cut grass? So let's be careful. I will supply you with a copy of the transcript if you wish. And then proceed. I can supply you with a copy of the transcript and you can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and with due respect, I never said any particular person. I never named anyone. I never called an honorable member of this house as uttering those words. Instead, Mr. Speaker, we've heard we have 130,000 vehicles in this country, and there's climate change, and we have some of the hottest periods today. Enterprising people, especially single-parent women, have found it good, honest, hard work to sell a bottle of cold water on the roadside. And that honest, hard work, which has built this country, honest, hard work, has been denigrated by the other side. Honest, hard work. Mr. Speaker, the 4,000 honest, hard-working families last year that built homes, the 4,000 that built homes, they were accused of laundering drug money. Because you yourself, Mr. Speaker, said you've seen many reports that says in the construction sector, we have money laundering. We have the proceeds of drug money. But let me tell you, Mr. Speaker, and tell the House, what the information that I have, that last year, 4,000 people built homes in the construction sector that today accounts for 10% of GDP. $8 billion last year in construction. $8 billion in construction. I will come to you just now, George. You just hold your whole time. I'll come to you. Mr. Speaker, let me quote you a figures. Let me quote you a figures.
Before you qualify, your time will not be taken away. What I said was that the narco trade has permeated every sector. I didn't single out the housing sector to say that it is only. I'm saying that I said it has permeated every sector, and so I did not say that only and every investment in housing is from that. So just let me qualify that. I said every sector has been affected across the board in the country, including. That's what my statement.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I can list every single sector in this economy which we monitor. And you did say every sector. And the second largest sector in our economy is construction. The second largest sector in our economy is construction. And the construction sector was specifically mentioned by one member of parliament. One member. Mr. Speaker, let me get back to the facts. Let me get back to the facts. The construction sector, which today has $80 billion of hard-working Guyanese investment, and people who are taking a risk. That's something you do. One financial institution, Mr. Speaker, and I will quote the New Building Society. I mean, just one. And they are one of a number of financial institutions which fund construction in our country. 2009, and 173 persons had $170 million to expand. In 2010, there was only 633, Mr. Speaker, mortgages at $2.4 billion. But let us come to behind the new government. Let us come to 2012. And 2011 was remarkable. It had 1,100 mortgages at $5 billion. Remarkable. So let's come to 2012. 2012, one institution. 2012, 1,607 mortgages to the value of $7.2 billion. Continuing to expand, Mr. Speaker. Real people and not drug money. Real people and not drug money, Mr. Speaker. 2013, Mr. Speaker, 1,754 persons had mortgages, value $8 billion. $8 billion. And in January of this year alone, over $1 billion was disbursed. Mr. Speaker, you know, all this here represents facts. We don't need this. We continue with all of the innuendos and all of the wrong information that a hippopotamously critical opposition has been leveling for. Yes.
That's what you said?
You know, I heard the former Minister Carl Greenwich mouthing when he heard these fantastic numbers which this economy is generating. But let me tell you, Mr. Speaker, and we've heard all the quotes from the Honorable Dr. George Norton quoting Hamlet and quoting the rhyme of the ancient mariner. But let me tell you about the albatross that was put around the necks of the people again. By the PNC regime of the past, especially of the past 8 years. Let me tell you about that. Yeah. The albatross. Because, Mr. Speaker, we are still the days suffering from it. We are being lectured. We are being lectured, Mr. Speaker, that we can't manage anything. But the PNC regime in the late 80s, under regime, Mr. Speaker, on the late 80s, early 90s, they signed an agreement to divest the Guyana telephone and telegraph company. 15%, and this was a cabinet decision, so every member of the PNC cabinet guilty, very guilty. I'll tell you what this albatross. Honorable George, where were you? Where were you? Where was the Speaker? You had your say in cabinet in the 80s and you screwed it up.
I'm asking you to monitor emotionalism and your terms and your words.
Mr. Speaker, I will withdraw school up. I would like to say myself.
I'm asking you to stick to your presentation and not avoid
I'm sticking to it.
That's what I'm
Because this albatross around our neck again, Mr. Speaker, and the people you know what the dead come here
all the members, could you allow Mr. Nadir to make a presentation, please?
So, Mr. Speaker, they signed an agreement that gave GT&T a 20-year monopoly over landline and a 20-year monopoly over, and we must let the people in this country know this, over international data and voice. 20 years. 20 years. And Mr. Speaker, it could have been automatically renewed solely by the company, not with negotiations with the government, solely by the company. So all the children today who have to pay We are trying to privatize this sector, Mr. Speaker, and you know what we are going through. Mr. Speaker, any business with a guaranteed rate of return of 15%. Any business with a guaranteed rate of return of 15% would recover its investment in about 6 years. Not 20, 6 years. 6 years. But Mr. Speaker, we have this country being saddled by the albatross of GTT, and we may end up having to pay them 100 times more than they pay for the company, just because we want the children to have access to the internet. Just because they want that, Mr. Speaker. So when we hear this pontification from the other side about the mismanagement of this government, Mr. Speaker, we have to get passionate. We have to get very passionate about it. We accuse of plagiarism. Instead of saying reported from people, the budget speech cover, we were accused of plagiarizing. And we were even accused of plagiarizing the PNC manifesto title, which has something like that. A good life for. We're not talking about good life, we're talking about a better life. Mr. Speaker, but Mr. Speaker, the one thing that really banged in my ear was when the Honorable Member Carl Village mentioned the issue of how he manipulated exchange rate so that Daisuko could show a paper profit. Yeah. He was giving us a lesson. He said he was giving us a lesson.
Mr. Speaker, I don't recall making any mention of manipulation. I would like the member to stick to what I said. I said of exchange rate policy, acceptable monetary policy. I don't know what he's talking about manipulation.
Indeed, when you use the word manipulation, I was, at the time that Mr. Greenwich rose, I was searching my mind to try to recall whether that particular word is ever used. So what I will do is, again, ask the clerk, but I ask you to proceed, and I'm asking the, I personally don't recall the word being used, but I'm asking the clerk to have the transcript
Mr. Speaker,
provided.
manipulation is not a word that's all.
Yeah, but it does have a certain connotation attached to it.
Mr. Speaker,
It does have a certain negative
on it.
Yeah. Even if the word itself was not used,
Mr. Speaker, I'm prepared to withdraw manipulation.
right, but the word manipulation does have a negative connotation attached.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I hope I get back my 10 minutes.
No, you are on hold. You're paused.
That, Mr. Speaker. Devaluation. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Member said devaluation was a means of ensuring that the largest foreign exchange order showed a profit. Showed a profit. I also interpret that because all of us who do mathematics can massage numbers.
We're going to get a transcript, but proceed.
Yeah, I have the transcript.
You have it.
Yes.
I have to get the official transcript, which is produced by the National Assembly. No. The official transcript of these proceedings is produced by the Hunter Department. Any other document purporting to be a transcript is not a transcript, permissible and admissible for these purposes. So, the clerk can proceed that right away.
I had reason to
No, I don't have to give. No, I don't know the standing orders. You don't have bluff. I don't show. The speaker has attempted to take.
I can take a point of order, but if it's a point of clarification, the speaker has to give way. If the speaker does not agree to give way, it can. But if it's a point of order, I take a point of order.
Mr. Speaker, it's not a point of clarification, I have a point of order. The member is claiming that I explained that we devalued in order to give the largest foreign exchange earner profits in Ghana dollars. He doesn't understand economics.
That's right.
I mentioned, Mr. Speaker, not simply to the largest foreign exchange earner. Exactly what I can give you, but that was not what I said.
One second. Your time is Honourable members, a point of order is that a member has violated one of the standing orders of the House. A clarification, Mr. Greenwich, is an explanation or a misinterpretation. So a member has to agree to give way even a clarification based on a misinterpretation. But unless there is a specific standing order that has been violated, a point of order will not be upheld. I will be getting the transcript, and I cannot therefore, in those circumstances, unless Mr. Nadir agrees to give way, allow the clarification. Do you agree, sir, to give way?
Mr. Speaker, I stand on firm ground with what I quoted, and I'm not giving a reason. Mr. Speaker,
5 minutes to Mr. Rappel.
we were told that this devaluation, this is the economics I understand, that when that devaluation came from $480 officially to $45, every man, $4.80 to 45, every person who had a dollar in the bank, we zapped their money, their value by 100%. Maybe it's the math. And that's what I understand. Just to show, 1987, I think it was January, Mr. Speaker. Right? So, Mr. Speaker, I understand that Albatross, Professor Clive Thomas, has linked that devaluation to saying that this country owes the workers a social debt. And that is slashing their hard-earned earnings that they were saving to build their homes. Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, we are here today saying and listening to them promising to cut the $1 billion that we have earmarked for Gaisuko. But, Mr. Speaker, let us go back to the history of the budget cuts. In 2012, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Finance Minister produced $192 billion. They cut it to $171 billion. In 2013, the Honorable Minister produced a budget of $208 billion. They cut it to $177 billion. Mr. Speaker, we hear of $220 billion. What they are really going to be cutting is the serious investment in developing the physical and social infrastructure. The investment. Why, Mr. Speaker? Why would you want to do this? We agree that this is a maintenance budget, but we also know it's an expansion budget, because what they have been cutting is the investment that will propel us into double digit. We don't want to be seeing single digit growth again. We want Guyana to experience double digit growth. And Mr. Speaker, why I support this budget even more than the last one is that for the first time, real wage increases outnumber inflation by 400% in 2030. And so, Mr. Speaker, with this 2014 budget, I am confident that the Honorable Minister of Finance has produced again another wonderful one-year plan as part of our multi-year program for the development of this country, so that every single Guyanese will enjoy nothing good but a better life. Thank you very much.
Our presentation from the member, Mr. Bond, James Bond. We will take the suspension. Go ahead, please, Mr. Bond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I begin, please, Mr. Speaker, I wish to point out that hearing the barrage of Mr. Nadir, Your Honor, Mr. Nadir, I'm reminded from my historical readings that he presided over a party that was once a force prerequisite in 64. I can't even keep his own party together. His party is disintegrated left, right, and center. And this gentleman wants to criticize Mr. Garganage and criticize the PNC. And I'm not it. You have to keep your own house together. He's presiding over a broken house. You promised me.
1 second, Mr. Honorable Prime Minister.
I think that the honorable member there was very greatly standard practice, speaking of our member and by
Prime Minister, thank you. In my 16 years in this house, this hasn't been the worst of debates. I think that honorable member Ms. Shalik put it best a few evenings ago. She said, when you come to Pravda, and things have gone back and forth, but Mr. Bond, I believe your point has been made and you should move on.
Thank you, Mrs. Speaker.
Go ahead, my brother, go ahead.
Judiciary serve and hold the executive branch accountable, and they help the contract and the corporate system work in a fair and impartial manner, providing a necessary element for predictability for investors. Judicial reforms thus should be a key component of poverty reduction and growth strategies in an increasing number of countries around the world. This quote was taken from the essay, Judiciary's Growth and Poverty Reduction, Linkages and Lessons Learned, penned by Mr. Vinay Bhargava, a former Director of International Affairs at the World Bank. My presentation today has three core thrusts. First, I believe the allocation to the sector is minuscule. Secondly, I challenge the minister's claim of access to justice by looking at legal aid. And finally, I will end with a demand for the introduction of a judicial research assistance program. However, before I get into my presentation proper, Mr. Speaker, I wish to say that Dr. Kumar Singh is one of our good sons. I believe that if he established a good working relationship with Mr. Carl Burnett, who is APNU's chief spokesperson on finance, the Guyana will be all the better for it. Mr. Burnett's institutional memory must not be taken for granted. His intellectual prowess cannot be ignored. It is time to bring an end to one-upmanship and grandstanding practiced by both sides. As a Guyanese, I am happy that GDP increased by 5%. As a practicing attorney, I am unhappy that a pittance will be spent on the justice sector, of which I'm a member for 12 years. Budget 2014 allocates 111,655,000 to the chambers and the Director of Public Prosecutions. 1.4 billion goes to Supreme Court Judicial, and 288 million to the Ministry of Legal Affairs. Total it amounts to 1.8 billion, or 0.8% of the total 220 billion national budgetary pot B. Paltry sums are spent on construction equipment. A total of 11,300,000 is allocated to the Ministry of Legal Affairs, and such funds are for the rehabilitation of a driveway, parts of a vehicle, parts of furniture and equipment. The Supreme Court will be allocated 216,270,000, and is supposed to be spent on the construction of a land court, rehabilitation of courtrooms, and payment retention. Also courses of vehicle, completion of construction magistrates courts, and courses of furniture and equipment. Do expect, however, courts with sewage seeping through the floors. Do expect courts that are soundproof. Do expect courts with no roving rooms and adequate seating. To the chambers of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the sum of $5 million is supposed to be spent on the purchase of furniture and equipment. These allocations in totality have the collective effect of strangulating and pegging back little gains achieved by the Justice Improvement Program, referred to as the Modernization of the Justice Administration System Project, or referred to as a component of the Justice Sector Reform Strategy, which saw $25 million pumped into the sector continuously since 2006. As a matter of fact, $418,592,000 was injected in 2013. The People's Progressive Party, civic, if they were progressive, would have had another phase of the justice sector reform strategy in place for 2014, to commence as soon as the 2013 phase would have concluded. If we look at our budgets, there's zero under this head. Why? Simply because the improvement of the delivery of justice to the Guyanese people ought to be a priority for any caring administration, and the continuity of such delivery would always be a matter of course. It takes a long campaign and not a brief offensive to achieve this victory. The Justice Improvement Program must be an annual diet for the justice sector. With its absence, it takes me to the logical conclusion, therefore, that the budgetary design for the judicial sector, as enumerated by the subject minister for 2014, is probably flawed in effect and principle. It is clear, therefore, that the People's Progressive Party civic administration has little interest in curing the ills plaguing in the sector. Ills they have created and allowed to fester and check for 2 decades. I'm not surprised that my friend Mr. Nazir is disagreeing. Nadir is disagreeing with the members of this other side. I can remember in law school, please. He was Minister of Tourism then. And I gave a poem at law school in which I painted a picture of Guyana going down the drain. Mr. Nadir came up as a guest and he objected to what I was saying. I was in law school, a student, I had no political ambitions. But it has always been the side of the government to paint a glorious picture of what Guyana is, ignoring the realities of the day. We on this side. Could have met readily. Some have been done. Much has, however, not been done. We refuse to be divorced from reality, Mr. Speaker. That the chambers of the Attorney General, held by my colleague, the Honorable Alexander Lal, accepts this offering shows one of 3 things. First, that the chambers may not have been involved in the budgetary decision, in the budgetary process. Secondly, that the chambers, as a matter of fact, the manager of the sector, cannot craft a justice sector budget. May not be unimaginable. Or thirdly, our litigious Attorney General intends to donate the justice sector his gains from the numerous libel lawsuits he has since filed, if he wins, of course, to improving and enhancing the sector. There is deafening silence on the following: enhancing its quality judicial decisions, optimization of the use of new material and financial resources, protection of the young and vulnerable when they become enveloped by the sector, focused financial investment and management of the legal aid program, expansion of the legal aid program to new areas, improving the court of attorneys and capacity building within the legal aid program, drastically reducing the time it takes for victims to be compensated, curbing reputation of criminality of offenders, introduction of IT and e-protocols to the sector, introduction of the judicial research assessment program, absence of any initiatives for performance in the sector. Those are things that are missing, or remember, Mr. Nandalal. You will not understand. I will email you my brief, sir. I will email you my brief. I will email you. These are the things that APNU would have spent an additional $1 billion on to ensure that the system is truly accessible and strong. Might I remind this Honorable House that in 2013, I called the Minister of Finance's bluff. And here again in 2014, I've proven him a bad poker player. He bets big with a weak hand. He comes as a bearer continues to place the highest priority on ensuring that our citizens have access to the justice system and the system is strong and effective. Paragraph 52, page 52, paragraph 41119 of his budget speech. As I mentioned above, we can't speak of access to justice without mentioning legal aid in the same breath. And once I've had a chance to talk to Ms. Webster, Dr. Webster, our honorable member, and she's clarified certain things in regards to legal aid. Legal aid will receive a paltry $44,087,020. And do you know, honorable members, that in 2013, the Guyana Legal Aid Clinic was forced to reduce its complement of attorneys by 2. Now this is very interesting to note here. What is incredible is that the casualties of this administration's lack of forward thinking was that Mr. Andy Ben, top student for the UNN Law School in our year, Ms. Marita Halley, who won multiple prizes in her year as well in law school, and Justice Bert Smith, who was respected by the bench of Barclay Caribbean. Those were the casualties. Those were the casualties of not planning ahead. The legal aid submits a budget. Do you think they get an adequate budget? No. Their budget is reduced. Now how could we speak of getting poor justice for the poor? Well, I see Mr. Sharm is gone. When we stymie the progress of the legal aid, when we stymie its expansion, its work, we must be a caring government. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know, sons and daughters of this great bountiful paradise, why we never let go? Because Paisa not been there. Every year the same thing goes. No partisan of this 10th Parliament. The Guyana Legal Aid Clinic is the agency that was engineered to cater for the poor. But how can they care for the poor when the People's Progressive Party refuses to cater for them, and they in turn cannot care for themselves? It is no wonder that in our poor circles, the PPP stands for punish more people. And if we were to add the C to that, the C will stand for continually. That's right. I'm glad Ms. Manchan brings that point. Indeed, legal aid was started by the People's Progressive Party Civic. But it's one recently, but this is the point I'm making. It makes no sense of starting and running with something and putting it halfway. They have abandoned their own channel. We've abandoned the legal aid. So if there's no claim now to say that we did this and we did that. In 2013, legal aid in Region 2 had a clientele of 376 persons. I'm going to you the realities, Mr. Minister. These are the realities here. I'm not making this up. Region 2 saw 376 persons, which 205 were women, and 171 were men. For the 262 persons were advised in a full representation. In 2013, in Region 4, the clinic had a clientele of 1,985 persons, of which 1,305 were women. In Region 5, 2013, the legal aid had a clientele of 65 persons. In Region 6, the clientele of the legal aid had a clientele of 216 persons, of which 148 were women and 60 were men. Between 1994 and 2014, the Guyana Legal Aid Clinic has seen a clientele of 27,909 persons, of which 909 were women and 8,310 were men. This shows that our women benefit most from this facility. The cases covered by the Guyana Legal Aid Clinic include adoption, custody and access of minors, division of property, divorce, domestic violence, forcing just to name a few. It's our women that attract these services. And the new government will ensure greater subvention. Greater subvention. You're giving nothing. We'll ensure they get greater subvention. We'll ensure a deeper partnership. We'll ensure a deeper partnership to ensure that legal aid clinics are countrywide. And their doors are kept open to poor and vulnerable.
Later. And Mr. Williams is coming after you, so be prepared for that. Yeah, Mr. Bond.
With your permission, I remind this House that the Ghana Legal Aid Clinic is the bedrock upon which the noble ideal of access to justice rests. And when the APN is elected to government, when we get the clinic in Georgetown will have its own building, and similar clinics extend to other regions, whether or not there are regular sittings of the court in those regions. Additionally, the legal aid clinic will remain normal to the Ministry of Legal Affairs, which my colleague Mr. Basil Williams will head. I come now to the titles of my presentation. Your Honor, honorable members, how can the minister speak of a strong and effective system when judges are left without legal support staff? He's bluffing. He's bluffing. Since 1996, let me draw a comparison. Since 1996, Trinidad and Tobago started the Judges Research Assistance Program. It is now called the Judicial Research Assistance Program. It started with 6 such persons in the Supreme Court. In 2004, the service was extended to the magistracy. They were made quote extensively from the project paper for its upgrade, sir. With the proliferation, and I quote, sir, with the proliferation of new legislation, the complexity of modern litigation, and the attention of the public to the rights and obligation, judges critically need the help of well-qualified persons to assist in the delivery of services. In the same way that a senior counsel in private chambers or the DPP utilizes services of a junior counsel. In like manners, judge research assistants are critical to the work of judges and magistrates. Whether it be the organization of case files and material, the researching of key legal arguments or legislation, the drafting of opinions, the preparation of orders, or assistance during court settings, the judge's research assistants sits at the judge's right hand, rendering invaluable service. We cannot speak of an increase in the complement of judges to reduce backlog without equipping them with the support staff they need to churn out decisions. Progressive Party civic administration is forever guilty of pouring new wine in old bottles. You can add 20 more judges to the 20 you've added to this derelict system, and the system will still be bogged down by the problems that we set initially. As a matter of fact, it will get worse. 20 judges cannot, and I say this, Mr. Speaker, 20 judges cannot service a population of 750,000. That is to make 3 judges for every 1,000 in the population. A more feasible quota would be 5 judges for 100,000 dinees. And that is my demand, that the quota of judges be increased to 35 to serve efficiently the 3 counties. I demand on behalf of our judges and magistrates, research assistance. I demand that a study be undertaken and completed in 6 months, and its implementation immediately thereafter. I demand for these assistants comparative salaries with other criminal jurisdictions. In Trinidad, they are paid a salary of 10,000 plus 2,000 transportation allowance. That is 12,000 TT per month, and they are also given duty-free concession. These are the steps taken if you really are interested in helping our judges and reforming our sector. These are the conceptions any current administration, which the APNU, when we get into government, will certainly make for our government, for our judges and magistrates. I also demand that our judges and magistrates be allowed to take notes on their laptops whilst they wait, I hope not in vain, for the day when the voice recognition will be order of the day, which is why a far speedier process than note taking and problems such as legibility are eradicated. I've heard complaints from judges that they were told they can't use their laptops. They still have to write. They still have to write notes, they're forbidden using their laptops. So backward.
With respect though, Mr. Bond, the law is that they must write.
The law will change, please, sir.
I know, but I'm going to defend the judges because they're not here. The judges are not here. The law mandates them to take the notes in written form.
It's a law that is archaic.
I'm sure you can make that point, but the way that came over is as if they are not complying with some modern technology. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yet with all we have said, yet we have said, with all we have said, the honorable members, Dr. Prasad asks, what's wrong with you? Mr. Damon asks, are you out of your mind? Dr. Ramson asks, what's wrong with you people? Nothing is wrong with us. We are not out of our minds. But if we leave you to your own devices and allow you to run this country like your own cake shop, a lot will go wrong with us. We will definitely go stark raving mad. Last year, the government overwhelmed us with their Guyana dream. Now they have graduated to a vision. But I tell you this much, if they quote the 16th century English proverb, if wishes were horses. I consider it strange and words spewed by Junior Minister of Finance that I'm proud that Dr. Singh is my boss. He was already corrected by Dr. Singh, who said they are colleagues. That is commendable of you, Dr. Singh, because yes, boss, and yes, massa, are for a time in Africans were slaves no breasts, and they were bumptious junior. But do well to restore our right. Delivers a budget that truly delivers for a better Guyana. To assist in redesigning this member's psychic profils, you change his title from Junior Minister of Finance to Minister within the Ministry of Finance. You can't do all this, boss. Are you ready? One man, you're going to consider flip on the off-use lines in PP. We know what the problems are. Some members use challenges instead of problems. This is in favor of Mr. Hamilton, Dr. Webster, Dr. Westford, Dr. Ramsaran, Ms. Sukai, Ms. Bishop Edgel, Dr. Ramsel, they all said it. We know what the problems are. We know what the challenges are. What we need is not the knowledge of the problems. What we need is the truth.
That's right.
We don't need to patronize the plight. What we need to know is a thorough investigation of the problems and the challenges you say you don't exist. And what we also need for you to do is to fix those problems and challenges and put mechanisms in place and policies to prevent their recurrence. This is my conclusion, Mr. Speaker. I'm always slow to criticize, but I will tell the Guyanese people in all honesty that Budget 2014's vision for the justice sector is primitive. It is frustration. Later ad hoc policies and goals it deceives the naked eye, but a close inspection is found wanting. This sector is too important to be toyed with, and that's exactly what this budget does. Last year, this year is 1.8. 2012 was 2 billion. This year is 1.8. How could you say you love the sector and give them less money in 2014? A good budget for the judicial service sector must be measured by one thing: performance. There are absolutely no incentives today for judges and magistrates to perform above and beyond the call of duty. No incentive. By not addressing the output and input in the justice sector, the PP Civic Angel cannot address the needs of the sector. They cannot address wages and salaries. They cannot address effective delivery of professional service and the registries and sub-registries. They cannot address a penetrable system where missing files are the order of the day. 850 went missing in 2010. They cannot access speedy delivery of justice and cannot make justice more accessible. The performance indicators listed in Volume 2 of the estimates are vacuous. And I further posit that some of the indicators are not compatible with the strategies employed, nor the overarching goal of quality, efficient service delivery. If I may conclude with the words from the English poet, historian and politician, Thomas Barbican Macaulay. He says, turn where you may, within or around, the voice of great events is proclaiming to us, reform that you may preserve. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.